Good afternoon. Welcome back to Three Swords Gaming. We are going to continue our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough. Now that we are in Visions of Eternity, we are here in Castora. We followed some sort of apparently nefarious Inquest expedition to Castora, and we didn't know why they were coming here. And this is a place that is apparently full of mystery and magic and all kinds of things. So we said, well, clearly the Inquest is up to no good, because why would they do a thing if it wasn't for no good? So we followed them. We left on 2 ships. We made it on one. Poor Canuck lost the Martingale. And upon arriving, we were encountered by some locals, presumably descendants of castaways who have possibly been here for generations, kind of judging by the context they give us. I specifically started right here because I wanted to draw attention to something before we go talk to the mayor of the nearby village, this village of castaways, and get into the process of meeting the locals. I wanted to draw attention to a couple things. Oh, and as I'm talking, it turns to night, which is actually a lot of fun. That was completely unintentional, but lots of fun just the same. Look at the water physics and listen to the audio here. That is so much better. Not that their water was ever bad or their sound was ever bad. I think ArenaNet's done a pretty good job of both, given the graphical constraints of the game and its engine, right? I think the characters look pretty good within the constraints of the engine, and I think the terrain looks pretty good. But this water and the noise that accompanies it is better than they have done with the same thing in the past. Didn't necessarily get that same quality in Draconis Mons or something like that, for example. So I wanted to take a moment to draw attention to it because I think it's really, really good. And I think they did a fantastic job on this map. One of the interesting things about the map, as we navigate it, we're going to be doing a lot of navigating it shortly. Of course, most of it's not unlocked here, but what we will see is that there's a lot of complexity to this map. Some of it will be very clear. There are multiple layers. I have a kind of a pet peeve when we get into the caverns over on the side here, but there are caverns and stuff. But what you won't realize initially when you get into this map is that there's also an entire, much like Tangled Depths. This map is actually a lot like Tangled Depths in many ways. There's an entire subterranean, like undersea cave network that connects to all these grottos and stuff. Super cool. I assume a lot of effort went into that, and I think it's pretty impressive. Now, unfortunately, on this particular account, I don't believe our skimmer can dive, and I don't have any swim speed, so navigating that on this account would actually be kind of a frustration. Maybe at some point during this playthrough, I will circle back around and go get the diving skimmer. I don't know how many. Let's check real quick to see. That should fall into here. Oh no, sorry. Here. Yeah, so we don't have it, and I would need to find a way to get more. Looks like in general I need a lot more mastery points. So I would have to look into that, but maybe it's a thing that I will do in the interest of playing this map. TBD. Don't be surprised if it's not. Anyway, let's talk to Mayor Osborne, who, given his title, presumably is the mayor of this little village, which is really quite a beautiful and fun little place. And more of the village is actually over here. This is really just a small part of the village. But Mayor Osborne, what's going on, buddy? One of your cronies came to get me and said that we needed to chit-chat.
Ahoy! Commander, is it? Got a sour look on your face for somebody who just landed on our little slice of paradise?
The welcoming committee wasn't exactly welcoming.
Westergaard threatened to throw you back into the bay? Yeah, she does that. And she means it. We all do.
One of our ships sank. We have injured crew, lost supplies. We need help. And we have plenty to offer in return.
She did say you had a sizable crew milling around. Tell you what, might be some ways you can help us out. But you're no good to us without a properly trained skimmer and some knowledge of the area. Go talk to Pete. After that, if Pete is still alive and you've got the lay of the land, You can pay me back.
You've got a deal.
Good. Keep your end of it. We might not have to shove you back into the ocean after all.
Oh, the audacity. The audacity of this guy. So I think, and we'll get a little bit more of this as we move forward, we can kind of understand why this village of castaways might be a bit standoffish with a group of newcomers. Presumably it's been a long, long time since there's been newcomers. That is the impression we're given, at least, with the exception of the Inquest. And we will get an opportunity to see later what this village's perception of the Inquest is. So a lot of interesting stuff going on there. I think they actually framed it pretty well. I enjoyed it. It is still a bit, the whole shove you back into the ocean thing is maybe a little bit silly, but I think they do a pretty good job of framing it. I have a habit of gathering all the materials I encounter on this map, because on my main account, I'm gathering map materials. On this account, we have yet to get that mastery, and we are going to have to do some mastery grinding. But first, we're going to have to talk to Wavehawk Pete. And Pete is a character. Pete.
Ozzy said he might be sending somebody my way. Guess we don't have to shove you all back into the bay.
Remains to be seen. So, what makes Skimmers special here?
Just one more confirmation of how great I am.
Huh. Well, that audio is disassociated. All right. So here is a really interesting thing that ArenaNet has done. They have replaced the much maligned fill the green bar mechanic, which I will defend begrudgingly. If they didn't have something like that, they would have a problem where people would blow through the content even faster than they already do. And that would be problematic, right? So they needed something to slow people down. In the past, the green bar was that. Participating in very specific events was also that. Having to complete a mastery before you get to another, before you advance in the story is also that. They have replaced the green bar in Visions of Eternity with collections. And this is the first of, I believe, 3 times we're going to encounter that. A lot of people, or at least a vocal portion of the playing population in map chat, has expressed their dissatisfaction with this. I consider it significantly better than the green bar. The reality is ArenaNet is never going to be able to just create 20, 25 hours worth of story content on a yearly basis. Or not even yearly, because, this is only meant to tide us over for 6 months. So they're just not going to be able to do that. So we have to have a mechanism like this. Don't get me wrong, I wish they could do that, but they're not going to. And this is better than the arbitrary fill the green bar. There are some times when it doesn't feel amazing, and we'll get to one of those during this video. But this is an improvement. Having said that, on my main account, I did endeavor to find all these things based on their descriptions without using any sort of map, or eventually, after a certain amount of time passes, Pete will actually send you a mail. It'll pop up, and we'll probably see it. It'll pop up in your mail, and it'll be like, hey, if you need hints, and he'll tell you where to find these things. So they do have a mechanism for assisting the player, so the player does not get endlessly frustrated because they can't find the token of affection. And, they spend 6 hours that should have been gameplay looking for one thing in a collection. So ArenaNet did anticipate that. They did address it. Pete will tell you where these things are located after a certain period of time. But for the purposes of this playthrough, I am going to use a map on my other monitor, because I want to just get through the collection and advance with the story. I would encourage someone on a first playthrough to at least give it a whirl on on trying to find a few things before you go that route, but it's entirely up to you. Like, far be it from me to tell you how to play the game. Pete, while I'm pulling up the map, do you have more dialogue? Oh, you love them too, eh? Finally, someone who gets me. Help me out with the juveniles here, and you'll learn even more about these beautiful creatures we both love so much. We're gonna be best friends. Yeah, so Pete has like this ultra hippie vibe, right? All right, so Wavehawks. Pete? I know what skimmers are. What the heck are Wavehawks? Yeah. Oh, that was a question. See, the skimmers native to the Strand are a subspecies we call Wavehawks. You've seen them, I'm sure. Undulating antenna, big, beautiful eyes that see into your soul. Right, Pete. Are Wavehawks different from other skimmers? All skimmers are amazing, but you knew that already. Now, our Wavehawks here have adapted to the magic of Castora. Got senses so keen, they can use ether location to find, well, you name it. Ether location? They were ether blades, so were they? Were they aether blades? Anyway, sounds useful. Can all skimmers learn the Wavehawks tricks?
Is it just me, or am I amazing?
Yeah, there is an achievement for getting Pete to talk about all this. Pretty low bar, but there you go. Yeah, you kidding me? They're incredible, all of them. Not just aether location either. We can teach them to get airborne with slipstream boost, ride ley lines with Riptide Rider. Wish I was one. Okay, Pete. Cool. Alright, let me pull up the map real quick. Alrighty. So there is one, like, literally right on top of us. Let me see here. Oh, maybe he even has it. No. So you see the emblem above his head. So for the collections that are directly tied to the story, they have the usual, like, side story collection achievement emblem, but then with a green border around it. Oh, you know what? It's like dead ass underneath this. That's where it is. Yeah, there it is, Wavehawk toy. So see that? That's what they're all going to have. And there it is, the Wavehawk toy. Okay, not far from here should be the fishing net. Feel no shame about being a big cheater. There we go. It's necessary. So an interesting thing with masteries, you no longer... Now, this one it'll probably dismount. Yeah, dismounts after the one attack with a skimmer. But with masteries, you no longer dismount when doing that. And it actually has really thrown me off because that is how I would always dismount the skimmer when I played before. And I'm having to unlearn that habit, which is it's probably not something I should complain about, but it is kind of a minor frustration. Oh, is this the one where I kill the dudes? I think it is. Yeah, alright.
Wither! Time to do some real damage.
And of course they all come running. But we only need one of them. He should drop something. There we go. So the rest of these are just now in our way, so I guess we'll finish killing them. But, yep, that's what we needed there. Next is the Lost Package, which I don't believe... I'm probably right about there. We don't have that part of the map unlocked yet, but it's in that general ballpark. And they will actually, when you get close enough, they pop up on the map. And apparently I'm not close enough yet. Let's see. Oh, it's south of here. Ah, there we go. Wavehawk package. Go team. Alright. What do we got left? Token of Affection and Freshest Fish. Both of which are quite a ways to the southeast. So we're going to have to kind of scoot over there. So certainly, skins... Oh, actually one of them's like right here. Wait, is that right? Oh no, that's Pete. Certainly skins are a money-making venture for ArenaNet. Like that's... You know, they sell them in the gem store. It's how they make money. You know, they don't make money off just the sale of the game necessarily. I mean, presumably during an expansion they make some, but not like a meaningful amount. So really cosmetics are their big moneymaker. This, I gotta say, I find this hero point tremendously annoying. Should we walk through this? Let's walk through it real fast. Sad freebooter. Freebooter, why are you sad? What do you want? Are you okay? Have you ever been in love? I immediately don't want anything to do with this. Yes. Yes, I have. So their whole thing here is, like, you're expected to pick the things that are actually probably the most human or reasonable responses and, like, appropriate responses versus inappropriate responses. Almost like it's a class in, like, relationship counseling, except that I actually, like, have some issue with some of what we choose, but we'll choose the right things. So here you go. I bet you have nothing to worry about. How can you be so sure? So the correct answer is to ask, like, about the relationship, what makes you love him so much, and get into it, versus, like, ah, look at you, you're a catch. Like, so, okay. He's handsome, of course, but more importantly, he's kind, caring, he listens, you know, like, really listens. I don't care. Well, if he's kind, you probably have nothing to worry about. This is what I want to say so that I can leave. But I want the hero point. So you obviously care a lot about him. If I can see it, I'm sure he does. And to this, so let's just finish this. The rest is details, which this is like very much like a 12-year-old's relationship guidance, and not actually mature relationship guidance, but okay. Communication is key. Yes, there we go. All right, done. Not a fan, but perhaps I'm being overly critical. All right, let's open up the map. Oh, we're actually close enough we can already see it. All right, so this should be the token of affection. Oh yeah, we gotta like talk to the wave hawk to get the token. It's gonna be okay, buddy. At least he's listening. Still visibly upset. I don't find that adorable. That's gross and weird. Go due north from here. You'll make it home, okay? Trust me, I'm a friend of Pete's. You know Pete. That's right, he's there. All right, and he leaves us token of affection, which God knows what it actually was. What does a bug leave as a token of affection? Probably something weird. Let's see. I think we're probably right about there. There, maybe? Is that right? Alright, let's go. I'm using the map on the wiki, by the way, if you're curious which map it is that I'm using to find these things. It is functional enough. I did find some for one of the things they've included with a mastery, it's these mirrors, and they're actually immensely... Alright, there we go. Happy times. Immensely profitable. For those, I actually found like a really nice map on the Reddit. I'm not a Reddit enjoyer, but the maps that I found there are very useful for the mirrors. We're not going to be able to see the mirrors yet. It might be a hot minute in this playthrough before we are able to see them. But I strongly encourage you, when you are playing Visions of Eternity, to unlock the map stuff and start aggressively going after the maps, because the returns on that are immense. Like each, mirrors, I mean. Each mirror gives you like 3 rares and 3 or 4 greens, I believe it is. So like, oh, we're not gonna fit through that window. So like very much worth the time investment, and or if you have multiple tunes, park a couple alts, buy some mirrors. I have 8 alts. I mean, I have a lot more than 8 alts, but I have 8 currently parked by mirrors. So that's like 24 rares every day that I can just immediately... And there are plenty of videos out there. I don't intend to make a video on it because I don't care that much. And I would not be a good person for making guides, but there are certainly a number of guides out there about the mirror farm. There are ways to get a lot more loot than what I just described. What I just described is the bare minimum because I only want to do the mirror and then move on to the next mirror. I don't want to go after all the chests. If you go after all the chests, so like one mirror, There's a mirror located over here by this hero point. I don't think it's on that island. It might be on this one. But anyway, there's a mirror right in this general ballpark, right? It unlocks a chest like down here and like a couple more around here. So if you were to grab all those and take the time to do that, then your returns are even greater. I just don't bother because even by just doing the mirrors with 8 characters, and there are more mirrors than that, so I could park more alts. I think there's like maybe 14 or so mirrors. So if I parked a few more alts, that would be an automatic like 42 rares every day. Not too shabby, honestly. And I'm actually sitting on those. I'm not doing anything with them right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until next week when the weekly is, or maybe it'll be the week after. But I think we're due for it next week to identify unidentified stuff, and then I'll just open a whole bunch of the stuff I get from the mirrors. So it's like automatically the 50, what are they called? Astral points, astral whatever they are, like whatever that currency is, astral acclaim, like 50 automatic, because I'll just have a whole bunch of unidentifieds just sitting in my inventory. I mean, it's, you know, whether I sell it now or sell it later, or salvage it now or salvage it later, it doesn't really matter. Pete, I'm done talking about mirrors. I have the thingy things. What's up?
Now, no guarantees now, but I've already put in a good word for you with old Oz, buddy. Any friend of the Skimmers is a friend of mine. For life. Don't be a stranger, pal. We should meet up at that new pub and talk about our favorite subspecies over a cold foamer. Hey, you got an extra one of those communicators I've seen you using? Give me one, and you can call me anytime.
Yeah, I love that Timmy's running a full-blown cell phone network. And clearly, I don't love that, but it is what it is. They needed a mechanism for it, so there, we'll get credit for that event. Actually, maybe we'll find a few more of the kids to make sure we get credit for the event, because we're going to need masteries. So let's find a few kids, and then we'll go talk to the mayor. Where are all the kids at? Oh, that's a creepy thing to say. There's some up here. Nope. Here we go. This is literally an event. So the events in the village here are a little goofy, a little weird. This one, we're literally sending these kids back to the babysitter because their babysitter is stressed out because she can't find the kids. But super easy. Get some map rewards. Get some experience for the mastery. Easy day, right? All right, Mayor Bob, Mayor Osborne, Ozzy.
Hold on now. Pete's happy, sure, but he's happy anytime somebody talks to him. Thing is, I did you a favor. Now, you make a few more Hull Gardeners happy, maybe we can talk.
Fair enough.
Alright. So I talked about how, broadly speaking, I like the collection thing versus the green bar. Another aspect of the collection thing, that collection's done now. So I think, don't quote me on this, but I think, well, I mean, do quote me, I guess. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I were to play through this story with another character on the same account, that collection is done. So I would be essentially able to skip that story step. I would not, however, be able to skip this story step, and this is kind of what I don't like. They immediately follow the collection with Do a Heart. And the hearts in this expansion, just as with everything after core game, are kind of time-consuming, like a bit. I've considered all the hearts post-core to be like a little bit overtuned, with the exception of a few. That's like something that I'll very much stand by. This one is no exception. We'll make a lot of progress with this coconut thing, but I don't like the feeling of immediately following the collection, which is sort of a little bit busy work, although better than a green bar, with more busy work associated with the heart. And this particular heart, regardless whether you do the coconut thing or other stuff, very much feels like you're just doing chores for people. So I wish they would have broken that up with something. Now, you can't just alternate every single time, you know, story instance chore, story instance chore, because then it gets very predictable, and that starts feeling bad to the player too, because they know that the chore is coming. So I don't have a particularly elegant solution if you're not going to have more story instances. But even on my first playthrough, going straight from the collection to the heart felt like a pretty tremendous eye roll. And still does on this being the third time that I've played this far in the story. It is what it is. Again, I don't have a better solution for him. Except for maybe, you know, don't make the hearts quite so overtuned. That would be a potential solution. Alright, what's the sandcastle site? I've never done... Usually I just... What, we just rebuild it? You have to have a sand bucket. Okay. I do have a sand bucket. What are you talking about? Oh, you have to get sand. I have sand. Can I now build the castle? I did it, guys. Alright, well, heart progress. Let's see. I don't know what his deal is. Do they have a thing going on?
Hardly a handful of newcomers. Now all of a sudden we got two.
Usually what I do, truthfully, is,
First those Asura.
I know we can give these seashells to someone, I just don't remember who it is. I will do the coconuts, work on something else, and then return and do more coconuts, because you can only do a certain number of coconuts. What can I help with? Oh, that's right, we can do the roof thing. I don't remember where the wood is, though.
I can't help but wonder who's in charge of that Inquest group.
I can't help but wonder either. That's, Alright, so some of these roofs need fixing. I just gotta remember, I think the wood is, like, down here on the shore. It's, like, wood left over from, like, crashed vessels or something. Let's see if we see any wood. Or if we figure out who to give seashells to, but otherwise... Rotten wood? I don't think rotten wood is the kind of wood we want, right? I don't seem to be able to do anything with it. I thought there was, like, some decent wood. Am I just dead-ass wrong? Could be. Let's not rule it out. Scrap wood. Alright. Give me some scrap wood. Go back to the village. Find a house that needs a roof. We're actually really close to being done with the hearts, so... hopefully... Oh, you know what else will get it done? Oh, we have to work the wood first. Will you just take the wood? No? Fine.
Every leak repaired is followed by 2 more.
You still have to hit much harder.
Actually, you know what? We're gonna put the wood down and we're gonna work on the rats because I want the event credit too. And that should finish the heart for us anyway. Look at this guy being terrified of this rat. Because it's a plague rat. Ooh, did I get the... So randomly, like, one of the rats, unless it was a bug and they fixed it, randomly one of these rats will be, like, a huge HP sponge. Alright.
All shiny.
All shiny. Let's go talk to Mayor Ozzy. Undoubtedly, there are Ozzy Osbourne jokes to be made. Undoubtedly, that was their intent. I'm not going to do it. No Crazy Train jokes. No coming home jokes.
A
Ozzy.
deal's a deal. Held up your end well enough so far?
Yes, I did.
And I can see you got a question burning up your insides. So go ahead.
Graphic.
Out with it.
You know anything about a group of Asura that landed on Castora a few weeks before us?
We're sure you were gonna ask if anyone's ever gotten off this rock. Answer's no, by the way. Talk to Sparktail. Might know something about your Asura.
Alright, I will talk to Sparktail. Let's go. We are gradually getting closer to another instance, by the way, which is nice. I don't hate the chores, but they become tiresome, right? Sparktail. Beachcomber Sparktail. My cat is standing on your thingy thing.
These are my gadgets. Keep your paws off.
Take your paws off,
And
Mittens.
before you ask, they ain't for sale.
I wasn't asking.
Just looking for information. You have anything that looks slick, futuristic? On the smaller side, maybe?
Asuran tech. Might have been born here, but I wasn't born yesterday. The thing is, I am pretty forgetful. Snag me some doodads from that wreckage out there. Might jog my memory.
Okay. So we're going to go snag some doodads out of the wreckage. In order to do that, we're going to borrow Flotsam here, because our skimmer doesn't go underwater. You can just get everything by swimming. Oh, one sec. Okay. You can get everything just by swimming, but that's a little more time consuming. So, I will take you up on the offer to borrow Flotsam. Go Team Flotsam. I find insectoid things to be quite ugly. However, as long as you're not zoomed way in and really like drilled in on the ugliness, it is a pretty cool skimmer skin. I have been using it intermittently on my main account. I suppose we can use it on this. Where are you going? We can use it on this playthrough. Like, why not? Can we get in there without dismounting to examine? I don't think we can. What if we? No. All right. Regret.
Inquest struggled to make it here too. Wonder how many ships they lost.
It's a compelling question. Now, the reason I didn't want to dismount, you see we only have half the salvage collected, or a little bit over, that we want. The last time I did that, and I dismounted to go look at the Inquest thing, it presented a bug, and when I came back to use Flotsam again, Flotsam would not work, and I had to swim the rest of it. We will see if that is a problem again. At least for the moment, it appears not to be. Hopefully it lasts. Alright, we still need a few more salvage. I do think there are like maybe one or two more salvage than are actually necessary, but it's not a lot, so you really kind of got to be thorough in your salvage search. It wouldn't have hurt my feelings if they had maybe made them a little bit more prolific or more easily found. But it's fine. Alright. We just need one more. There's one right here. We're good to go. I don't think we can get to that one with... Oh, yeah, we can. Alright. Sparktail. Flotsam and I found things.
Okay, suppose I can point you in the right direction.
Thanks, Sparktail.
Freebooter's been swinging by here lately, selling me this new stuff they've been getting. Real high-tech looking. You go buy him a few rounds, and I'll bet you'll get all the info you need. And just do me a favor. Don't tell him I sent you. Want to keep that supply of gadgets flowing. Say, you don't know how any of these things work, do you?
I can't help but wonder, and I don't know the answer. Haven't played through on an NG yet, but I do wonder if you're an NG if you actually have a response for that. All right, you know what? Why not? Well, one, sure, but then two, mounts, skimmer. Oh, is that? Yeah, I have one in my inventory. There we go. How do the dye? I've not yet tried to dye that skin. Can we do something kind of wacky and fun? Orange? Oh, yeah, look at that. What about green with orange? Oh, that is hideous. Alright, I assume one of those is the eyes? Maybe not. So what is that? What am I... Oh, it's a thing on the tail. Alright, sure, why not? Now, for this next part, it's... oh, well, and then we're not even going to use it. It is... this piece is really like classic Guild Wars, right? So we've been on this island for about 15 minutes now. Give or take 5 minutes. And lo and behold, our friend Canuck has established a pub. At least that's like the impression that I am under here. Canuck, what's up, buddy?
Ah, there you are. Welcome, welcome. Knew you'd pop in sooner or later.
Canuck, what are you doing here? Place seems like a real...
Pub Canuck is my latest concern, Commander. This is how I recoup my losses from the Martin game. Apologies, you were saying?
Your latest... You bought this place? It seems like a real, solid investment.
I thought exactly. So, need a drink. First round on the house, of course.
I'll take you up on that. I need to loosen the lips of some of these freebooters.
Ah, well, nothing excites the tongue quite like a mug of my new grape shot grog. Help yourself.
Okay, so before we do that, we are going to do the hero point that's right here, since it's right here anyway. And I'm going to talk about this hero point really quick, because I find this interesting. So there's a hero point in Heart of Thorns. Can we even... Let's see, Heart of Thorns should be, like, right here. It is the toxic bacon down here. You are meant to get this one by using, like, right about here, there's a adrenal mushroom that you're meant to use. It recharges the heal skill that you use to overcome the bacon. And so that's, like, kind of how you're meant to do that one. However, if you time it perfectly with your heals, you can do it without that. And of course, these days people just go down there with the jackal and just help each other out by giving each other barrier with the jackal. So this is a similar timing thing, but infinitely more forgiving. Like, it's actually very forgiving. So when you do it, and we'll talk to host Scott Bonnet here, which I think is a reference to, like, what is it, Scotch bonnets or a super hot pepper, right? When we get the heal skill pops up after talking to him, you'll see it heals for 45%. So if you just wait a few ticks, I think it's 4 ticks, you're just a little over 50%. And so that's, like, mathematically, obviously, the optimal time, because you bought as much time as possible while still refilling your health to 100%. So this guy's doing it right now. Because, yes, it roots you in place for some reason. So you'll see in a second here, he'll use the heal. Yep, pretty good. Pretty good. He's doing it the right way. I found it interesting because it seems to be... Like, it works on the same paradigm as the Toxic Bacon, just way more forgiving. And all the hero points, like, only 2 of them in the entire expansion are even a tiny bit difficult. And we'll get to those when we get to them. Anyway. Alright, yep. I've been through far worse. I don't fear a spicy raptor wing. Give me the spicy raptor wing. Alright, you see right here, oh, that's eat. Take a swig and recover 45% health. That's it. From here, we just spam the health.
Okay.
Easy. Easy times.
Begging you, pardon, everyone. Got a little rowdy there.
Feel the fury.
Alright. Canuck, where's that grape shot mug? Grape shot being a form of, like, naval artillery that would have been used by, like, a galleon or a man of war or something like that. I don't know. I'm not in the Navy. I'm certainly not a naval historian. But presumably a warship during the period of time when, you know, it was like sails and cannons and stuff, right? Here. Have some booze. Of course. Say, know anything about who's in charge of the inquest here? Like, that's very subtle. Like, the commander is clearly skilled at the art of elicitation.
Dunno, pal. Maybe if you sit real quiet like, you'll hear them arguing. That's about all them two get up to, I hear.
Okay, so we asked about the inquest, and he specified 2 specific inquest, without, like, naming them or anything. He just, you know, said them 2. We will actually, like, get some exposure to that later. That'll make a ton more sense. Alright, gossiping freebooters. We're busy yapping here. Well, you know, I'm bringing your drink. By the way, know anything about the Inquest base?
Used to just be a cavern. Now, golems, gates, engineers all over. Heard some wild noises coming out of there, too.
Okay, helpful. Now, in ArenaNet's defense, I should probably say this. I think they intentionally, the commander is awkward at elicitation. So, while it is, like, really kind of dumb, I think it's meant to look a little dumb. So there it was, minding my own business, and speaking of minding one's own business, what do you want? You look thirsty. Here. Oh, the Inquest base of operations. Know anything?
I ain't been in there. Been to the entrance. Heavily guarded. Big cavern down south behind a waterfall. So obvious.
So obvious. Well, thank you. Almost makes you wonder why we're doing this if it's that obvious. We didn't invite a stranger to join our conversation. Keep moving. So this literally just occurred to me just now. I'd never thought of this before. There are Sylvari indigenous on this island. Sylvari have only been around for like 20 or 30 years, something like that. And it's been generations since anyone came here prior to the Inquest and us. Where did these Sylvari come from? Do strangers buy each other grog? Here, this one's on me. Oh, hey, my mistake, friend. We were just sharing thoughts about the gaggle of Asur that showed up. Inquest, they called themselves. The Inquest, you say? Heard anything about their security? That's a logical segue.
Not really. It's all real whiz-bang tech. Seems like a lot of their stuff runs from fancy terminals, though, if that helps.
Sure. Sure it does. Alright, I'm missing one. Oh, right here. Unless you're serving me a drink, keep walking, pal. Grape shot grog on the house. So, you know where the Inquest are holed up?
Can't say. But I'll say this. You ain't getting past the gates. Not unless you got security clearance. Or you turn yourself into a golem, maybe.
Huh. Also, another note regarding the commander's elicitation here. Another note in ArenaNet's defense. I'm sure at least one developer thought about making that like some kind of mini game where we actually try to like smoothly elicit from these folks, and that probably would have felt worse. So I mean, after all, that's not what this is. This isn't a CRPG. It's not a TRPG. So probably best that they just stuck with that little awkward experience, right? Canuck, I learned things about the Inquest.
Sounds like that grog had the desired effect. You heading for that cavern?
Sure did. Think I know where the entrance is, and a good way to get in unnoticed, too. If you see Saida, fill her in.
Fill her in on what? You didn't actually provide Canuck any details. Okay, that should get us close, really close. Like 1,750 experience from completing the mastery.
Impeccable timing. Could I persuade you to help me get Pub Canuck off to a promising start?
Wait, are you talking to me, dude?
Now the cuisine couldn't be more
No,
fresh.
that must be for an event. That's not the next story step. Alrighty. Side note, while we're at Pub Canuck, during the map boss for this map, or the meta event, or whatever, those lines have kind of become blurred between the two, and I don't care to have that conversation right now. I don't even know that it matters. Probably doesn't. It takes place, like, over...
Perhaps you'll buy me a drink when this is all over.
Over here, maybe? Somewhere, it's surrounded by water. It's like one of these watery areas over here. And there's not like a waypoint right there. However, there is a waypoint right here. See down here on the minimap. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from this, and this will transport you back to that event. So if you're doing that event and you die, and you probably will at some point, don't just lay there waiting for someone to help you out when you can get back into the fight. Like, that transporter doesn't just transport you near the event, it transports you like directly into the middle of the event. Like, you will transport in and almost immediately get hit if you're not paying attention. So while that's a little bit shocking the first time you do it and you're like, oh, I'm right on top of the event, the upside is there's no reason not to waypoint if you're downed. Like, do it. Don't be a jerk. Alright, enough said. Oh look, I saw a waterfall like right there. And that appears to be the direction of our green shiny thing. Yeah, let's just head straight there. We'll worry about more hero points later. Oh, but let's finish the mastery. I think that's the other one we're going to need. I think. Or is it Wild Castor and Magic? No, that one's still locked. Must be Advanced Hydrodynamics that we're going to need to advance the story. I don't remember for sure, though. Alright. The Inquest base. We made it.
You can't be here! Guards!
Why can't I be here? Like, that feels hurtful. Alright. I was actually, the first time I played this, I was actually hoping that they would have 4 different models of, like, power suit or whatever. Like, they would have different golem models here. Like, something like that one over there is different than these. And I could choose which one I thought was coolest. But they're all the same, and I think it's the same. And presumably, and this really is, like, in their defense, we have got into a golem, or a power suit before, and used it to infiltrate a base before. So this is like a callback to Season 4, I believe it was. Yeah, post-Pathfire Season 4. When we went to Sandswept Isles, right? And it was this model then, too, I believe. So I guess that consistency is something we should be grateful for. Yeah, hack. So here, just another variation of the click on the right thing when it pops up. Only a slight variation from the remember the sequence and put it in. So essentially the same as like opening a chest in Secrets of the Obscure or something like that. As I mentioned in a previous video, they rely very heavily on these throughout this expansion, but I don't don't necessarily dislike it. It's one of the more entertaining little mini games that they, throw at us. So because it's not hard, but it keeps you engaged for a fraction of a second. So that's kind of a nice conversation, or a nice combination, nice compromise between, asking players who don't like puzzles to do something, that they don't want to do, and while still giving the players that do want some sort of engagement, instead of just walk up and push button, that engagement, right? So.
Warning, warning. Friend foe recognition system corrupted. Multiple targets acquired. Weapons free.
Only one?
So you
Thought
see
I hacked them all.
that golem back there has gone haywire because of that. None of the others have.
I doubt he wants you dealing with this personally, Seb. Let your underlings handle it. Delegate.
Fearful of getting dirt under your claws, Kuda? I prefer a hands-on approach. Besides, this is an opportunity to assess the effectiveness of my experiments.
This is a waste of our time. We have subordinates for a reason.
Golem. Subordinate. Let's indulge the Overseer with a bit of delegation. Open the animal pens.
Okay. So Kuda here we should recognize from Sandswept Isles. That very same chapter that I was just talking about in Season 4, right? Seb is new to us, however. This guy here.
Yes. Yes. Very good.
Satisfied your puerile need to make things go boom today, Seb? Let's get to the mission at hand.
You think to order me, Overseer? I answer solely to the Director, and I will see his bidding done.
By putting high-priority objectives on hold to deal with every minor incident.
By not stopping to explain my every move to the meek commander of an obsolete crew.
Agent Thessa is ready. Find me after you have your procurement team in order. And your composure.
No need to wait, Kuda. I don't tolerate unnecessary delays. My team is ready. Lead the way, Agent.
Ready, Overseer. Principal Biomancer. Move out, team!
Warning. Golem target identification systems corrupted. Override failed. Recommend physical decommissioning.
I guess I did hack them all. And now my suit's on fire. Time to get out of here.
Good job, Commander. Good job. Okay, so a few thoughts while and I'll have to make sure I'm talking over the combat noises. So earlier, when we were in the pub talking to people about pub things, we heard about how there were two Asura seemingly like no love lost, like always arguing and stuff. Now we've seen that firsthand, right? We see that Seb and Kuda, right? Go back to the dialogue. Yeah, Kuda. Like Plymouth. Don't get along at all. It also appeared, if I am not incorrect, judging from like the voice acting associated with who was it? Tessa, that the crews seem to like Kuda significantly more than they like Seb. And I think ArenaNet intended for Seb to be like deeply dislikable, and I think they succeeded in that. He is deeply dislikable. So in that sense, well done, right? Now they have wandered off, and we're dealing with all these Inquest and with out-of-control golems and the whole shebang. So we have lost them for the time being, I guess, is essentially the point I'm trying to make. Okay, is there anyone left that, like, I need to... Oh, can we go in here? Oh! I didn't even know we could come into this little area. I had never tried... Oh, but we can't get... Can we get through there? I don't need to, actually. We can't, but... Got that done. Alright, more golems. Part of the reason I am killing everything instead of just fleeing, or only killing the golems and not the Inquest, is... in fact, is there still an Inquest over here? There's an achievement associated with... What are they fighting? Or are they just freaking out? Alright. Yeah, so there's the achievement. So my pet killed that last golem while I was looking for more Inquest. Small, meaningless achievement for killing everything in there without, you know, skipping any of it. Alright, let's go fill Saida in. And then probably we will wrap up this episode. And shortly dive into another... we'll do 2 episodes today. And then more later. Tuesday, actually. Holiday. Veterans Day. I'm off work. So this veteran will do whatever he wants. Saida, hi. I killed golems.
Back already? Just heard from Canuck that you tracked the Inquest out here. You okay? Looking a little flushed.
After the hacking, things got heated. Not important. I saw Kuda arguing with someone named Seb.
So this Seb is running the show?
Not sure. He mentioned reporting to a director before setting his experimental creatures loose. They're heading somewhere north of their base with a procurement team.
What the hell are they up to? Think it's cleared out enough to follow them?
Only one way to find out.
Alright. So now we're going to turn around and go right back to the base. However, that's not what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to wrap this video up, and I will do it by apparently wandering around aimlessly. Man, I do not like that bee skimmer skin. It's really, really well done. I just find it creepy and weird. We'll come over here, grab a hero point, and that is where we will wrap this up. How does that sound? Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So there's a huge side story, side quest thing with all these memorials and like helping a whole bunch of different castaways, like say goodbye to lost loved ones and stuff. Have not done it yet. It's on my to-do list, along with some leftover things from Soto and Janther Wilds that I'm catching up on. So on my main account, at some point, I'll get around to that. But not right now. Okay. So, we have tracked down the Asura. We have found that Seb and Kuda, both subordinate to some director, are apparently engaging in experiments here. However, we lost them because golems are crazy, and so we're going to have to hunt them down, and presumably when we come back, that's exactly what we're going to do. And if I remember correctly, and I think I remember correctly, we will do that with the help of the Skimmer Aether location, which Skimmer Pete told us about, right? So we have that to look forward to. So, I will be wrapping this video up here, and when we come back shortly, I will be continuing the hunt for the Inquest and doing Skimmer things, and also... off camera, I might do a few rifts to advance mastery and grab a few mastery points so that our progression through the story is relatively seamless. Might try and get out ahead of that a little bit. I will catch you guys soon. Thank you for accompanying me for this part of the story, and I hope you have a good one.